Welcome to Curious Coach, aha moments for coaches. This space is to document and share insights and revelations about the craft, the art, and the profession of coaching. I'm Tiffany a master certified coach, certified professional resume writer, and the founder of Sacred Time. As a career coach and guide, I see myself as a light in dark places, so I may illuminate some topics for you because it's important to me that you identify and master your own coach approach. This isn't just a podcast. It's a place to walk with insight, sit with questions, and to follow the thread of what calls us into deeper knowing.
Hello. So welcome to the Curious Coach podcast. On this episode, we have a special guest. And so what we're going to talk about is the power of I don't know. And our guest this time is Ana Floyd. She is a PCC and she is currently president of ICF San Diego. Welcome, Ana.
Hi, Tiffany. I'm excited to be here with you. Thank you. My name is Ana Floyd. Thank you for the nice, warm introduction. Yes, I am currently rounding out, happy to say, rounding the corner of my second year as the president for the San Diego chapter of the ICF. And it's been speaking of the topic today, the power of I don't know. I did not know I was going to do a second year.
On top of all the other I don't knows, I think that would come out as president.
Right. So I did not know I was going to have a second year. I entered in, thinking year one, and it's been a gift. Absolutely. And I also have had an opportunity to really lean into this topic, as you've already spoken, throughout this whole, the last 2 years or 18 months of this presidency, and continue to experience the topic of I don't know. And shall I say, part of the experience is I'm really grappling with it, if I'm being honest, right? And totally transparent, because it's not a experience that always brings comfort. If anything, right, it brings discomfort.
It can. And I do think that growth happens in the discomfort zone. And as part of our process, I'd love to hear about the story that inspired this as a topic for you. And then we can get into like how this relates or might relate to coaching. But how did you get started grappling with this? So
It's a good question.
inquiring minds want to know.
Right? Good question. I don't know how I got here. No, I'm kidding.
Well played.
So, I'm a second generation coach. I'm proud about that. My mother was an early pioneer back in the 80s with the late Thomas Leonard. And, speaking of I don't know, I had no idea what she was doing at the time. And the name of our company is the Institute for Global Listening and Communication. And I am a life development coach in communication, which means I really work with clients through the lens of how they listen and how they communicate. And how does their listening affect the way in which they communicate? And most clients that I work with and teams really don't make that connection, right? So that's the first place that we explore not knowing how our environment affects the way in which we communicate. Our environment affects the way in which we listen as well. And fast forward from the 80s and not knowing what my mother was doing, I just showed up at the office one day. I don't know about anybody else, but back in the day before internet and cell phones and stuff, you just kind of hung out in the town you're in. I'm from San Francisco. So I was hanging out in San Francisco with a girlfriend of mine, and we swung by my mom's office at the time where she was working with Thomas, and just figured out what she was doing. And next thing you know, we're in the copy room, right? Photocopy room, because they're working on a workshop. And we're helping them put together the workbooks for the workshop. So free help. So I'm bringing up this story, and I'm glad to be able to share the story. I don't share it often. And whenever I share it, it allows me to go back and just presence myself to, I had no idea what I was doing at that time or what I was walking into.
Yeah.
I was just hanging out and wondering, going to see what my mother was doing and wanted her to uh, meet up with myself and my childhood girlfriend because she hadn't seen her in a long time. We were just out bopping around. And the gift about I don't know, when I'm just being, when I'm not in my head about it, is a lot of creativity and a lot of serendipity happens in that space, right? Yeah. And here I am 30 years later, you know, young enough to still participate, yet old enough to have some history. And I still find myself, Tiffany, grappling with the I don't know and grappling with it from the perspective of when I'm in that space and it's uncomfortable. I don't like not knowing. I don't like not having a plan, so to speak.
Mm.
I don't like
It,
not looking prepared according to me. If I don't know, then I'm not prepared, right? And so
mm,
there are days
there's a
when
labeling there.
yeah, there are days when that rears its the I don't know, it becomes this nemesis.
So is there a particular moment that recently that triggered this for you to be grappling with it? But because it also sounds like a lifelong grappling. Like you've been wrestling this monster for a while.
Mhm. 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 Yes. Is there something I'm going through now? Absolutely. I think the whole world is in an experience of I don't know. Like that's our existence right now. Um I we I don't know what's going to happen in terms of this country. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of my next uh, stage of my profession, our profession, I should say, right? As a coach,
Yes.
like we're coach entrepreneurs, and so that requires sitting really in the I don't know, the space of creativity, the space of just trying things and seeing what's working, and even if it is working, okay, what are the factors that have it work? And sometimes you just don't know, it just worked, right?
Right?
um, and continuing to be in that space of creativity really triggers the I don't know from a place where I'm grappling because I'm having to work to stay creative, stay open. And, full transparency, it's challenging to just stay open to I don't know when a bill is due. That's when
Yes,
that's
that goes
when you
out to the entrepreneurship. Yes.
yeah, exactly. That's a challenge. That's when creativity is like, okay, I know how to be creative. And other times though, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be creative, but I have no idea what's gonna happen here.
So
Right?
there feels like there's a time and a place for the I don't know, is what I'm getting from that.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. Right? What do you think?
Sometimes where I think it sounds like where it's more convenient, where you can get with the I don't know. Like it was fine when it was I didn't know what my mother did. Well, then that can be okay. But now
Mhm.
like, oh, I got some bills due. Let me figure out what my mom is doing. So there's some of that
Mhm.
time and place.
Mhm. Mhm. True, true. I agree. If it's convenient to be in that space of I don't know, then all of a sudden becomes creativity, right?
Yeah.
It becomes let's just be. Let's just let the universe manifest. Okay. When when there
Yeah.
is, I say, yeah, risk, apparent risk associated or some sort of uh, expected outcome associated, that's an interesting space, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
However, I have an expected outcome. Well, that's interesting. How can I have an expected outcome if I really don't know what I'm going into? And
Yeah,
maybe
because those are
that's
two
where I
different things.
grapple. Maybe that's where I grapple, right? Maybe that's where the grappling comes in.
Yeah, because there's a difference between what you're going to do or what you wanna end up with versus how you get there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes those are two different questions.
Mhm.
When you were telling the story, you began the story, uh, I started to equate "I don't know" with openness, so that makes sense for the serendipitousness
Yeah.
of it all, and I don't even know if that's a word, I just put that in there, so there's that.
Okay. Okay.
So there's my "I don't know" right there.
Yeah.
Um, I You ended up in a copy room, and I feel like there's more to that story.
Yep, got put to work. We're in the photocopy room. Instead of the mail room, I was the kid in the photocopy room. And we were putting together the workbook. So the course was called the Design Your Life Workshop. And it was an opportunity for individuals to really design how their life was going to show up for them versus just falling into life and letting life just, push you around and you find your way and you just so happen to end up somewhere. Or the other option in those days in the 80s, right, was you had it all mapped out for you already. You knew what school you were gonna go to, you knew the degree, you knew after the degree this was the job, you knew you were gonna have 2.5 kids, it was already mapped out for you.
Mm.
However, to take that kind of agency and just apply that to your life just because you can. Hello, there's a novel approach, you can. It's called it's called free will. At the time, that was it was exciting, absolutely, and yet it was, cutting edge, and nobody was doing that, and you mean I can really design a life that works for me? And there were, 6 areas, right? So you designed it based on your health, your finances, your career, your recreation, your relationships, and then, of course, personal growth. What kinds of things do you do to continue to grow yourself as a human being?
That workshop and that approach and that time and context feels like that influences how like, the fact that you grapple with "I don't know," 'cause if "I don't know" means you don't have a plan and you grew up with workshops designing your life, you better have a plan. So no wonder you all grappling with "I don't know." So where are you now with "I don't know"?
That's an interesting question. Today, I can speak about today on this in this conversation. I In this moment, I'm feeling good about I don't know. Meaning there's freedom around I don't know. And let me just,
Oh.
speak about the course. You can design it, which means you could come up with your first iteration, but it didn't lock you into having to execute that. It was really you could design as you go, right? And how you designed it was centered around your life purpose. One of the major areas of an I don't know is what am I supposed to be doing with my life? That was really the catalyst, one of the major catalysts for this workshop called Design Your Life. And so once people found their life purpose, then they really could design all their activities around that, which really allowed people to engage in their life from a whole different perspective versus just kind of sleepwalk through life, or these days, have an invisible driver through in your life, an autonomous vehicle go through your life like you're an is
You
go
are from San Francisco. Wait,
Yeah, I
what?
am, I am. Go through your life like you're inside this autonomous vehicle. Um, so when I look at it today, and you are right, Tiffany, in terms of asking. I appreciate this because it allows me to reflect in terms of asking me, like, okay, what is this thing that I've been grappling with around I don't know? I'm an African American woman. raised in the United States. And I know we're not a monolith. The community is not a monolith. And yet I suspect that there's a similar experience, and I don't know. However, I'm going to venture out to say that I grew up in a family, very strong family unit where there were high expectations placed on me, as is placed on a lot of upwardly mobile African American families and all families. Right now, though, I can only speak about the family I was raised in, which was African American, the African American culture. There's a huge expectation to meet high standards, and to meet those high standards in this country, I was always informed regularly that I had to know twice as much, if not three times as much, as my non African American counterparts, those that did not look like me, just to get half of what I was qualified for, just to get half of that. So the competitive advantage of being able to make it and make it successful at a certain level in this country, the bar was high, stakes were high. That was the socialization I grew up in. And
So I'm hearing I don't know as a luxury as you lay this out with
yeah,
emphasis on the tapping I hear you do.
thank you. Yes, I'm emphasizing this was the tapping, yes, this was tapped in, this was drilled in other words. And I don't know, is a luxury, and yet when we're talking about what am I grappling with, the bottom line is, it was not okay for me not to know. That's
That part.
really where and when we're talking about as coaches, like what is this, the Curious Coach podcast?
Yes.
I loved that you and I, when we were talking about it, we came up with, the power of I don't know. I want to explore that because typically the being an I don't know, the power of that in the environment I grew up in was a power that was not going to be in your favor, right?
Yeah.
And so to have this conversation when you ask me where am I now and what has me grapple with this, I'm really having to shift that whole paradigm that it's okay for me to not know. As a matter of fact, that's where my empowerment comes from, is that I don't.
And so I think you began our segue there into how this impacts coaching. Because I will confess that when you first said, well, what about the power of I don't know? I was like, that is perfect. Because one of the things I find when I'm coaching is if a client says, I don't know, like it shows up in two different ways for me right now with the client. One is they will tell me everything and then tell me they don't know. I'd be
Mhm.
like, okay, first off, hold up, let me get you on that. Because you can't not know and then just give me all your knowing.
Right, right.
So we get to have fun with that. And then there's the I don't know, like you ask them a question, they say, I don't know. My follow up go to is if you did know, what would the answer be? At 100% of the time, I then get an answer. I don't know what that's about. We could talk about it. But I'm curious how I don't know comes up and influences you with coaching that.
I love that you said that because it just shows the universal knowing. We say I grew up in training hearing my mother say the same thing. So until you and I are talking, I had no idea that other coaches and we did not share a script. We just, we met recently. Like, this is
It is
fantastic.
universal.
It's a universal knowing of, well, if you did know that question, that's a wonderful coaching
Yes.
question. So how does it show up with me? One, yes, I use that. If you did know the answer, if you did know,
Such a
what would
good
it
one.
be? It's a fantastic one because I think it taps into to our own internal knowing, right? We all have an internal knowing.
And we
And
default to not sharing it, which is
cor-
interesting.
yes, or judging it first, judging what
True.
we know. So, I mean, I'll speak for myself. So I don't want to share it. Or when I speak with other clients and they're in that space, they don't trust what they know. So there is some level of
Yeah.
judgment there. So they may not share it because they don't trust what they know. How else it shows up in the coaching space is for clients, what I've experienced, and I love this, for clients to be okay with not knowing, particularly with male clients. I have male clients that have to at least articulate how much they know or position themselves like they know more than they think they do,
Mm.
and have that be some sort of um it's like an it's a false representation, I'll just say it that way. And it's not a I don't mean a false representation as if they don't know what they're talking about, because as you and I both know, our
More like
clients
a
do.
fake it till you make it.
Exactly, kind of a fake it till you make it, like, it defeats the whole purpose of how come they're coming for coaching, it defeats the purpose of exploration. If I'm faking it till I make it, well, then I'm not really open to exploring, I'm acting like I'm already there, I'm already at some destination.
So they're not even coachable in the beginning with the fronting that they're doing.
Exactly, exactly. Or coach or clients that feel like they wanna know where the coach is going. I'll have coaches when I ask a question, "I don't know where you're going with this. I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm simply asking the question. Where do you wanna go with it?" Right?
Yeah.
And so these are the different ways that I don't know shows up in my coaching conversations, and one of the things I enjoy doing for the client and for myself on that call is holding the space and verbally saying, "Is that okay that you don't know?"
Oh,
Like giving permission for, "I don't know." Okay, great. So where do we go from here now?
what's the reaction you get when you pose the question?
Relief.
Because they didn't have to know. It's like that pressure is off like that.
Yeah, relief and
Woo! We
liberation.
carry a lot.
Yeah, we do. Relief and liberation. Like it didn't even occur that it was really okay to not know, that it was not only that it was okay to not know, it's okay to stay in that space. It's really
Yeah.
okay to stay in the question of, "I don't know."
That is fascinating to me because this is bringing up, forget childhood, like early career. Uh, like
Yeah,
somehow I ended up in a university housing department, working the front desk. People come up with questions. I feel like I gotta know. I
right.
gotta make up some answers. I'm dancing. I'm like doing the thing,
You're
and
right.
I've mastered the non-answer to the point where at some point I'm giving presentations at Microsoft, and they're getting schooled on, you have to say you don't know. If you don't know, go get the answer. You can't be telling people stuff that they could then verify and then come back to you. We all look bad. Like, don't do that.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
So there's a career growth and maturity, but
mhm,
also I think maybe it's societal in that
mhm,
we're allowed to not know more now because we could also just ask AI.
mhm, right?
Honestly, actually.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. No, I appreciate that. No, I appreciate that, and there was, I was doing something the other day, and there was some information I was curious about. And I did. I immediately was like, well, you don't have to sit here and not know. You can go, we have the freedom and luxury these days to just go get smart. Go find out the answer. You don't have to go to I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, but there is no, you have to go get the encyclopedia and look at the different uh the different volumes and find the volume and then flip through all these pages, or you don't have to go to the
I
library
laugh
like
because I
the
relate. I
bookstore.
laugh.
Right? Like, there were so many barriers to just trying to find out a simple
Yes.
Simple,
Especially if you only got some of the volumes because you picked them up like me at the grocery store. So
right?
we only had like the first three, and then I like whatever I needed was volume 7, and we weren't there yet.
Yeah. There was so much energy attached to going to find the answer. I'm okay with it. I learned how to do it. There is some adventure in it. Absolutely. And I will say I appreciate the convenience to just pick up my phone and type in something that I'm curious about, a topic that I'm curious about, and just learn about it. And then and then satisfy my quest for continued education. I find that fantastic. And let's not even talk about YouTube University.
Ah, my goodness. As a matter of fact, my voracious appetite for learning might be born because of that time. All those
Mhm.
times I had these questions and I couldn't get an answer. Now I'm like, woo,
Immediately,
for
right.
days. Give me a
Exactly.
rabbit hole and
Right.
50 million different multimedia certificate opportunities. I got you.
Right. 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 So now it sounds like from what you're feeding back, which I love, the whole paradigm shift about I don't know is here. Like it's really empowering to not know because you can go find out. It's like, oh, I don't know something. Let me go find out.
It's my
Doesn't have
excuse.
to be
Like, what else
that
am I going to do?
right. Okay, here's another activity. Oh, goody. I don't know this. Let me go find out. Versus like, I don't know, it's foreboding. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, has a bigger presence than I anticipated, and it shows up in a lot of different ways, is what I'm hearing through the course of this story,
Mm.
and the threads that are coming together here.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree. I think one other way I don't know is showing up, and thank you for holding this space because this is a very powerful space I feel for coaches because there's still an aspect to coaching and coaches. You and I are both mentor coaches, so I also know this piece I do know that we run into different stages of a coach's growth and support them,
Yes.
through that. And let me just be very clear. There is no destination. Coaching is a journey. So I don't care if you have an ACC, PCC, MCC, no CC, whatever CC. Um, Coaching is a practice. It's not a one and done. Yes, you have certain right levels of mastery and proficiency. Absolutely. And it's important to gain knowledge in those areas. And while it's important to gain knowledge in those areas, develop the skill set, I will never say I know everything there is for me to know as a coach. Ever, I will never, ever, ever say that. So I also want to provide that space of security in terms of it's okay to not know as a coach. That's one of the main functions of coaching is to be in a space of I don't know so that co-creation can happen, right? So
Yes, I love that part of coaching. That's why I coach,
exactly.
because I don't have to be an expert on other people's lives. Like, you can have all the answers, great, let me ask you questions.
There
Like,
you
that
go.
is why I'm here.
Exactly. Exactly. And for us to get much more comfortable with that space of just I don't know. And I think these days, as I'm taking on responsibilities within the San Diego chapter as a chapter leader, that's been full of I don't knows, even though they give us all of the onboarding and the structures and the information we need to be successful. I still have had to lean into I don't know this part, or I've never done this part, or I don't even know how this is even going to turn out. San Diego hosted the conference, the Converge conference last year in 2025, where over 12 to 1,400 coaches descended upon the city. Uh,
It was fun.
it was great. It was fantastic for, several days. And while the global headquarters, ICF, was handling it, like, that they did all the heavy lifting, they still looked to our chapter to do some hosting and present some uh, guidance and ground resources and all of that, which, you know, I don't know. I didn't know how to do. I know how to do mixers, right? We can do little mixers, find a location, tell people to come, send out invites, one and done. Host of support and co-hosting a 1,400 person convention, never did that. And neither did anybody on my team. Nobody on my team. And we had to lean into not only not knowing, I think the gift of not knowing is also becoming, as you and I both said, becoming much more familiar with, well, what do I know?
Woo, that first question. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, I can say I don't know, and yet let me now explore, well, what do I know? And that may be one of the major powers of I don't know, is to at least anchor yourself in, well, what do I know?
Ooh, to give yourself credit because we often don't do that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And to come to find out I know a lot more than I thought I did.
Ooh, maybe that's the power of I don't know, is it gives you your power back of what you did know.
I like that. I like that.
I just made that up
See?
because I didn't know.
For creation. Well,
There you go.
you just exemplified it, right? Like that wisdom came through in a space of like,
Yes.
let's just look at this.
And that's the benefit of people coming together, I think. It amplifies our gifts because it will pull different data out of us than we would have given it if we were just in a
Mhm.
silo.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's very liberating, I feel. It gives
Yeah.
permission. It gives permission to just allow.
So would you say that's the power of I don't know? Or what's the power of I don't know for you?
Well, this whole conversation this whole conversation is very empowering. And I
Mm,
say that's the power of I don't know. The power of I don't know for me, as you're asking me to really take a look at it. The power of I don't know to me is the ability to be empowered
mm. I see
to
what you did there.
yeah, to empower myself with that. Um, because again, the default for me can be I don't know is foreboding. Something not pleasant, something uncomfortable is going to happen to me if I don't know something. There's an outcome, there's a consequence to it. I won't say outcome because outcomes are relatively positive. Consequence has that different connotation of
Yeah.
something I'm not going to like, something that's uncomfortable. So I need to know, right? So I need to know how to prepare myself in case.
In order to be safe is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, thank you. So the power of I don't know can also allow me to create safety also. Can also allow me to create safety. It can inspire me, as you and I were just talking about, to go find the answers. It can inspire me to learn, well, what structures do I need in place for me to feel safe or to trust? It can inspire me to stay in the question of, okay, so what do I need then? If I don't know, what do I need? And that's what I mean by being in an empowering space. If I'm now if I find myself challenged by I don't know, okay, well clearly then I'm triggered. So there's something more for me to look at.
Yeah. So the power is in the reframing of it, but
Yeah.
also in claiming your power back
Mhm.
because you go from fearing I don't know to embracing and probably even dancing with I don't know.
Yeah. 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 Even if for me sometimes that dance is a slow waltz.
Because it can be humbling, right?
A
Yeah.
slow
We
walk.
were
Mhm.
we were trying to do the jitterbug, and here we go.
Yep, yep, and I'm stepping on toes all over the place, including my own, or tripping over my feet, like, like, that can be okay. Like, really
Yes.
allowing for that can be okay. Because the truth is, from what I've seen, what I've learned, what I've heard, what I've listened to, more of us don't know than more of us don't know things than what we do know. Most of us are in a space of "I don't know." And in science, let's just for those that need to
Blow it up.
have evidence, right? Just have evidence. In science, that's a standard s- positioning is not knowing. That's the whole power of science. Even if you
Right.
ran an experiment, okay, you're putting down data and research of the experiment, and then you still have to run another experiment because you don't know. And it's
Because you have to back it up and recreate it.
there you go. And you have to
We running around with hypothesis thinking it's the truth.
right?
See what you would have like, oh, that just came out to me. Okay.
That's it.
Look what you
That's
brought
it.
out.
That's it, right? Research is based on I don't know. And then even if you do know, like, okay, no, but this is the answer because it's just been validated and we have tested it and we have several data sets and
Mm.
yeah, but there's always someone coming in with a different theory, right? And it's the whole field of science is built on like don't know.
What also is coming up for me as you share it that way is the stage and time that we're in, I don't know, is actually longer than we think. Because if you go from hypothesis to testing to rehypothesizing and retesting to validate,
Mhm.
that means we didn't know for a whole long time before like the truth was out there.
People are still trying to cure cancer.
I mean, yeah. And what I've learned here today is one of the cancers is not, I don't know.
There you go. That's beautiful.
So in the grappling of I don't know, where are you going to go next with it?
You know what? I am going to continue to grapple with it, meaning grappling is for me now not so heavy.
Hmm.
Grappling is now um an experiment. Kinda it's a place of inquiry. Like, I can really grapple with it, like, I'm really sitting with this, I'm really looking at different parts to this, I'm really twisting it and turning it, almost like a Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cubes used to keep us fascinated with not knowing how to get everything aligned, everything lined up, getting all the colors in place, twisting it
That's not
around
the
so
F word I would have used, but okay.
So and we grappled with the Rubik's Cube and it kept us immersed for hours. And so now I'm looking at I don't know from a different place. I am going to have to come out of the rabbit hole eventually to make sure that I focus on the things I do know how to do.
Because bills will be due. Yeah.
Yes, yes, bills will be due. And yet I appreciate this conversation to really also give myself permission to grapple because
So it's,
grappling means I'm really being in I don't know. And I'm really okay with that. It's a place of it's an action.
yeah. What shifted it for you? Because it does sound like you're in a different place than where we started.
What shifted it was the willingness and the freedom to explore, I don't know, to explore my relationship with it. And I believe that's really the power of I don't know, the willingness to explore your relationship with it. my relationship with it.
That's a lot like facing your fears. If it's one of the things you fear, facing it.
Mhm,
But it's
mhm,
interesting because you didn't shift. I don't know. I don't know is the same. Your relationship to it is
mhm, mhm, mhm,
what changes or evolves.
mhm, mhm,
Eh,
mhm. And you talked about fear, the word fear, which is great. You know the acronym for fear?
I've got 3 of them.
Yep. So in
Which
this
yes?
context, we'll talk about not knowing, um, in terms of oftentimes we talked about earlier, faking it until we make it. Like we will put out fear, false
Mhm.
evidence appearing real to
Yeah,
factor in not knowing. So we'll just create evidence and we'll make it
yeah,
appear real.
right. It felt real,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it felt real. And so therefore, at least we know something. We'll make a
Yeah,
we'll create this false construct.
right.
Sometimes fear will run from it, right? We'll run from not knowing.
That is my second acronym for
Uh-huh.
fear. Forget
Yep,
everything and
yep,
run.
yep, yep, yep. And sometimes the F is a little more that's a different kind of yes.
Ed,
Yes.
that's my word for it. It's a little more
Yes.
pointed.
Yes.
But my third
And
acronym for fear,
the third acronym now, which is where where we ended up on this call, which is feeling excited and ready.
woo! I didn't have that one, but that's
Yeah.
really good. That's
Yeah,
really good. I'm
that's
gonna
the
steal
good
that one
fear.
from you.
Yeah, feeling excited and ready. Well, it's out there. I will give credit because I do believe in giving credit. I don't know if he said it. This is where I heard it, which is an author, Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote
Okay.
Conversations with God. It wasn't in that book. However, went to a lecture where he was the speaker, and he talked about the acronyms of fear.
Ah,
And what
it's funny
stays
because
with
I think
me
I
is
had that book.
feeling Yeah, what stays with me is feeling excited and ready because that is the distinction for me in terms of there are times when I don't know and I that's fine. Let's just do it. Like this podcast.
Yeah.
We had no idea about the podcast and I was feeling excited and ready. I wouldn't say I was scared. Wouldn't say I had fear, and yet there's that experience of I don't know, I'm excited and yeah, a little bit trepidation, but it's not enough. It's more the anticipation, right?
Yeah.
So
What's interesting is I didn't know that version of fear as an acronym,
mhm.
but with a client, I made up another one, which was forgive everyone and reset.
Nice. I love that.
And
Okay.
sometimes that could be like the precursor to a lot of things because you sometimes we're like, you know what, I didn't know, and then there's the regrets that go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. I'm going to use that for myself. And I
There you
think
go.
with that is a beautiful way to complete the I don't know, to forgive everything, forgive myself for not knowing when I made up I should have known,
Mm,
forgive myself for thinking I knew something, especially with coaching clients as coaches, so committed to wanting to help, wanting to
yeah.
support that we may unknowingly uh come a- come across in a way that we didn't know that that wasn't the best way to serve and forgive that. Forgive when a conversation doesn't go the way that we think it should or knew it was supposed to go. Yeah, I love that. Forgive everything and reset. I love that.
Because we get to start again.
Yeah.
I think what this all gives me is the power of being human, and it's being okay to be human. Because part of this is if we if we were perfect, we would first off not be human. So there's
Mhm.
that. We'd be
Mhm.
divine, and we already are.
Mhm.
However, this gives us the chance to go figure it out, go test and learn, go do other things, or go meet up with somebody who does know. And all of a sudden
Mhm.
now we have a connection. So we get to get
Mhm.
out of our own way once we realize and admit to we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You see how I made that a we thing? I don't.
And I love this because it speaks to the power of expansion. I don't know keeps us in the experience of expansion. There's a
Yeah.
spiritual conversation that is around. I work to allow for spiritual conversations without having to tie it to any one person or practice, just to give everybody the freedom to practice how they feel resonates for them. And yet there's a conversation that is around that speaks about us in this experience. We have we're limited. Human beings are limited, and we came into this life with the awareness. We forgot, but the when we agreed to come, we came into this life with the awareness that we were going to master limitation.
Mm.
We came in as the masters of limitation, which means we came in as expansive energy into a limited space so we could master how to still be expansive within a space of limitation and
Oh,
overcome that limitation. So when I talk about and when you bring this up around I don't know and the willingness to just allow for it, I'm looking at, yeah, the power of I don't know returns us back to us being able to live from expansion.
I feel like you just clocked me over the head with the realization that the power of I don't know is that it's a duality. It's both things. It is
Mhm.
both limitation and expansion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whew, I didn't see that coming either. I didn't know that was going to happen like that. So, so as we wrap up today, is there anything else you want to say to sort of close us out for this conversation? I should have seen that coming.
And if I did know, what would the answer be? I would say I've enjoyed this conversation very much, Tiffany. I've enjoyed the space and permission to just sit in I don't know, like just luxuriate in it. Just have fun with it and go to the depths of it wherever it takes us. I really appreciate that freedom. I will take away that it's really okay for me not to know, like use it as my superpower.
Oh yeah.
Use it as my superpower. Now, that said, give myself credit for what I do know. Like it is important for me to know how to drive. It is important for me to know how to cook.
There
So
are
give
things you
myself
do know. It got
yes,
you here.
that's it. And give myself credit for that and own that and embrace it. So I encourage everyone else who's listening to join me, to join you, to join us in the experience and the freedom of I don't know. That's what I would say. It's
There you
very
go.
empowering. It's very empowering.
And then we end with that invitation for everybody. We're curious. What is the power of I don't know for you? Go ahead and drop a line in the comments and you can find out more about Ana and also get a link to her website in the show notes. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tiffany. It was fun.
So, what's next? Well, for 2026, we deem this the year of mastery. So you could join us in one of three ways, or all three if you so choose. The first way is with career coach training. This will be our way of helping you to focus on mastering your own coach approach. We'll do that through peer coaching and tips and tricks from me, Tiffany Dedeaux, a master certified coach. This program is going to be for a total of 22 CCEs. If you're in the ICF, That is more than half of what you need to renew your credential. The second way I'm going to help you is with the Career Coach Mastermind. In this monthly group session, we're going to dig into different topics. It'll be part book club, part podcast, but all about coaching, our craft, and what we're learning. The third way you can join me is with Deepen Your Roots. This is a way for you to dig deep so that you can aim high in this next year. I will be joined by Mother Nature because I will be going back to my roots with some nature-based coaching techniques. I'll be joined with Nicole Venner, the intuitive executive coach that will help you to trust yourself, and Gail Whipple, the leadership coach for creatives who are in the process of exploring what's next. Join us for a year of mastery where you can create the space to grow in community to position your brand for what's next. Your partner in change, Sacred Time.